Patrick Wilson was in a rage as he lurked on the side of the Chevron gas station. It was a cold front coming in from the north and the temperature was dropping. Even though it was 58 degrees outside, Lil Patrick was sweating with anticipation. Old National Highway is a urban road filled with gas stations, shopping centers, bars, and cash girls on men. It was after midnight and the city was lit up with fast cars and loud music. Lil Patrick could not get the images out of his head. He had seen the text messages between his girlfriend and King Troop, and it was over for him. Lil Patrick would head to the local bar where the whole city was known to go to. He would see King Troop and approach King Troop about the situation, and King Troop would laugh in his face. A small altercation would pop off, and King Troop would get Lil Patrick kicked out the club. It was easy for Lil Patrick to stay on King Troop's trail due to the short distance. King Troop would walk into the store to purchase some cigars, and King Troop and the clerk would exchange words in a joking manner. As King Troop said his goodbyes to the store clerk, he opened the door and a gunman would pop out from around the corner. King Troop spotted the guy at the last minute, and it was too late. The gunman shot King Troop 5 times. Then when King Troop hit the ground, Lil Patrick would pull the hoodie off his face so King Troop knew who he was. He shot King Troop 9 more times before fleeing the scene. Witnesses from the club told detectives that the shooter was the same guy from the club incident. Patrick Wilson would eventually tell detectives that him and King Troop fought a week before. After seeing King Troop still texting his girl, he blacked out and went looking for King Troop and waited until the club was over to ambush him at the gas station. Only 30 minutes later, as the club started to close, King Troop decided to head to the Chevron gas station only a few seconds away. The police would catch up to Lil Patrick a few days later, and Lil Patrick would jump out the window, and he would eventually get caught with the AK-47. You bet, and the dice hit the foot, and for now, dice good. We got a rule now. Yeah, it's the rule.
My name is Khalid. I'm your city councilman. And this year, I'm ready to be your next mayor. I'm out here pumping gas on a map at night to prove to you the picture the media paints of the South Side is a lie. Some folks would have you believe our communities are a war zone and all our kids are hopeless. But the same folks trying to convince you our neighborhoods are no good are calling our mamas and aunties every week trying to buy their houses. It's true, the South Side needs some work, but we are not number one for crime in this city. What we are number one for is income inequality. A child born poor in our metro area is more likely to die poor here than anywhere else in America. Yet and still, our city spends 25% of our tax dollars on police and only 1% on economic development. It's time for Black people to elect Black leaders who are willing to invest in Black communities, Black businesses, and Black youth, who see water boys as entrepreneurs without opportunities, and are willing to say to young brothers out here hitting licks and trapping, stop doing this dumb shit and let us show you how to make real money the right way. Old National is full of potential. I know because I was born and raised here, and I still live here because I still believe our best days are yet to come. We just need a mayor with enough vision to see the best in all of us. South Fulton, forever.
Teacher now undergoing surgery right now after she was caught in the middle of a shootout. This happened in College Park.
Yeah, 25-year-old Kiana Brown's family says she was shot in the arm when a man got into a gun battle in a parking lot with an off-duty deputy working security at a restaurant there. 11 Alive's Joe Henke spoke with Brown's family and has new information tonight about the suspect.
25-year-old Kiana Brown found herself in the parking lot of Cozumel Mexican Cantina off Old National Highway as the bullets started to fly. The GBI says before 1 a.m. Sunday, 29-year-old James Bernard Lawrence Jr. of College Park was involved in an argument in the parking lot. He then pulled out a gun and fired at least 2 shots. An off-duty Fulton County deputy working at the cantina and a security guard then shot at the man. Bullets hit Brown, Lawrence, and at least 2 cars. A man inside the packed bar at the time of the shooting says everyone was then evacuated.
I heard the gunshots and I seen the sheriff come running in with their gun out. I'm like, everybody get out, everybody get out.
The GBI is waiting on ballistics tests to know who shot whom. Brown's family told 11 Alive by phone today she was shot in the arm. She went to the hospital Sunday in stable condition, but headed into surgery today to treat a severe arm injury. Brown is a teacher with Atlanta Public Schools, according to her mother. A GBI spokeswoman says Lawrence also remains in the hospital and is in critical condition. College Park police will handle charges against Lawrence, but they have not announced any yet. I'm Joe Henke, 11 Alive News.
It's so good to have you with us today on Old National Highway. We want to come out and talk about some of the great things that have happened. You and I know, over the years, we've been around to these communities. This used to be one of the most vibrant communities that we had in Fulton County. And over the years, it has gone down for whatever reason it may. But we're here today, dude. We're talking about Operation Take Back for Old National Highway. We want to do that. We're going to make Old National what it was, and we're going to do it today, and we're going to do it forever.
Right. Well, you know, Mayor, for the past 3 years, we've seen reductions in crime, particularly along Old National. And it's not enough that we just reduce crime. We also have to do our part to fight the perception of crime.
Right.
Because I believe that's what stopped a lot of investors from coming to the Old National corridor.
No doubt, no doubt.
And we've done our part in terms of getting those crime numbers down. We've worked with business owners in an effort to try to help improve the perception of crime along the Old National corridor. But even with those 3 years of straight crime reduction, we're still nowhere near where we want to be in terms of fighting that perception of crime along Old National. Yeah. We want to work with our business owners to try to set standards. I mean, you've said it repeatedly. We don't want to have Old National viewed as a red light district where anything goes.
Right.
We want to get responsible business owners in here and work with those business owners to help establish those standards.
And one thing, Chief, you know, people ask me a lot that, well, why Old National? Well, you know, I kind of like when they were talking about COVID, and all of the scientists say that we follow the data.
Right.
And today, it ain't personal. We're just following the data, and you know that Old National has been, in Part 1 crime, one of the busiest times we've had in securing that.
Right.
So we're following data. We're not being personal to nobody.
Absolutely, and that's the key. Actually following the data to make sure that we're letting that drive our decisions in terms of how we deploy police resources and what's needed along this corridor.
Right. Chief, glad to have you here today. You're an essential part of what we're doing here on the corridor. You and the department have done a fantastic job in bringing our crime numbers down, but you realize that we got so much more to go to. We call this today is the first stage of Operation Take Back. And we're going to take back this community because this community we know can be what it used to be.
At this hour, police agencies across the metro busy investigating at least 10 different shootings. Since Friday night, at least 14 people have been shot. 6 of those victims did not survive. Here's a look at all the shootings investigators are looking at and that we are following for you tonight. Many of the gunmen behind those shootings still on the loose right now. And that includes a triple homicide that happened early this morning in South Fulton. It happened at the Camelot Club condos off Old National Highway, where 3 people were shot and killed near one of the buildings. No arrests so far have been made, but as Joe Ripley reports, the shooting shines a new light on the tense relationship between residents and management.
God will fight our battles.
A drive-in Sunday service on Old National Highway. Just next door at the Camelot Club condos, you'll see crime tape outlining the scene of a triple homicide.
I've gotten jumped down onto the floor because it sounds like the gunfire is like right there. I mean, it's like a cannon sometimes. But yeah, you know, you're scared.
Condia Perry lives close to Building 6, where South Fulton police say they found 3 people shot dead around 1:30 Sunday morning. Perry blames the Homeowners Association Board for the crime situation, accusing them of misusing funds intended to go towards keeping the condo safe.
I said 3 souls were lost, and it's on your hands. It's on your hands because you had a duty, a responsibility to keep us safe.
We reached out to the board members. One told me he couldn't say anything about the shooting, then hung up. Another board member asked that we not use his name. He told me there's no money to misuse because owners are only paying half of what they're supposed to.
Those owners are renting those people, getting the rent and not paying assessments. And you got people running around sending notices out saying the board is stealing money, but ain't no money to be stolen.
This board member says Camelot used to be a nice place to live, but he said condo owners rented out to people who made it a haven for crime, with Building 6 causing the most issues.
We've been working diligently to keep this place in order, but you got some people that don't understand you cannot live for free.
With residents at odds with management, Sunday's deadly triple shooting only tightens the tension.
I'm angry. I'm telling you, I'm angry as hell.
The search continues this evening for the shooter, as police have now identified the young man shot and killed at a busy shopping center in South Fulton. Police say 17-year-old Willie Edward Redditt IV was shot and killed after leaving a barber shop on Old National Highway. Nick Sturdivant has more on what happened, and he shows us the key piece of evidence that solved this arrest.
It was the talk of the barbershop Saturday morning. Lyrics Brown says last night's shooting is also the talk of the community.
When I got word, they were saying, well, it's been a shooting over there by the barbershop, you know, in the area. I'm over here all the time. You know, literally, I do a lot of business in this area, especially with the barbershop as well over there. So it was kind of like, wow, I can't believe something like this is happening on Old National, like right here in this area.
He says he was next door at Walmart when he saw the cop cars and the scene.
Well, it's usually a lot of things that happen over on this side of town. You know, again, anytime anything happens, period, no matter what, even if it does happen all the time, it's always still shocking, disappointing.
South Fulton police say 17-year-old Willie Edward Redditt IV was gunned down after leaving the barbershop Friday night. Police released this surveillance video. It shows Redditt walking away from the shop just before 6:30, and then less than a minute later, he walks back only to be met by this man in a white shirt who pulled the trigger and left. Police say Redditt would have turned 18 this year.
It's always bad because it makes you second guess, like, man, should I really live on this side? Or should I really shop on this side?
We are following some breaking news in the city of South Fulton. That's where police are investigating a deadly shooting. This in the 5100 block of Old National Highway. Now, this is a live look at that scene. Police say they got a call about shots fired just after 9. Officers arrived to find the victim dead there. Now, we do have a crew headed there. We're going to bring you updates as soon as new information becomes available.
This morning, one man is dead after a shooting in South Fulton, and police are still looking for the gunman. It happened on Old National Highway around 8 p.m. last night. Good Day's Alexa Liaco is live at the South Fulton Police Department with an update on this investigation. Alexa, good morning. Good morning to you. Pretty limited information from the South Fulton Police Department right now, but we do know that the man killed was 24 years old, and police say he was walking outside several businesses along Old National Highway when he was gunned down.
We were notified by emergency dispatch of shots being fired.
When police got to the 5100 block of Old National Highway, they found a 24-year-old man with gunshot wounds.
Upon EMS's arrival, he was located in the grass right here in front of the building at the roadway.
Paramedics say he died at the scene.
The investigation is open. We're trying to determine exactly what happened.
And police say the shooting has several crime scenes.
At least a couple of scenes at this time. Right now we're canvassing, looking for shell casings, and we are interviewing witnesses that have been in and around the locations to see if they can give us some information so we can piece it together.
Investigators believe this man was walking through the area when the shooting happened.
Best as we can tell, no, he was not patronizing the businesses.
And police say they really need the public's help finding a suspect.
Our condolences to the family, but we are in need of information. We want to make sure that the offender or offenders that did this criminal activity is brought to justice.
And at this point, police say they do not have any sort of description for a suspect or a vehicle that that person or people could have driven off in. So that's why it's especially important that anyone with information come forward. Live in South Fulton, I'm Alexa Liaco for Good Day Atlanta.
Hopefully someone saw something. Alexa, thank you.
5 News Alert. College Park police are searching for a couple wanted in connection to a deadly shooting at a local motel. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Tom Hayes.
And I'm Christine Spiro in for Courtney Bryan. Officers responded to the Super 8 motel on Old National Highway and discovered a man's body in the parking lot this morning. He had been shot.
Let's get out to Fox 5's Deidre Dukes, who joins us live from that crime scene tonight with the latest on the investigation. Deidre, what more can you tell us?
According to police, the shooter and the woman he was with argued with the victim. Things escalated. We were told by officers that at that point, the gunman shot the victim. Now, the couple then fled the scene in an older model SUV. We are told by those who live here that the victim also lived here for about a year and was well liked.
And that was it. And, so I didn't think much of it, then last night until later on the day. And then when I found out what had happened.
Motel resident Ralph Terrell lives a few doors down from the man who was killed. Terrell was jolted out of bed Monday morning as gunfire erupted at the Super 8 motel in College Park.
Right down the same floor, right there at my way he got shot at, just about, we room right here and then a room right there, and then he got shot right on the side.
College Park police responded to reports of a person shot just before 6 a.m. They discovered the victim's body in the motel parking lot. Investigators scoured the scene for evidence and interviewed witnesses as they worked to determine what led up to the shooting. According to police, a verbal altercation between a couple and the male victim took a deadly turn when the gunman shot the victim, striking him multiple times. The male shooter and female fled the scene in an older model SUV. The victim's family members gathered at the scene as word of the shooting spread. They questioned motel residents in hopes of learning who killed the man and why.
It actually impacted everybody because, as from what I see, everybody knew him. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely impacted a lot of people.
This woman who didn't want her face shown on camera, and others we talked to, say the victim was well liked.
I'm finna go home. I ain't saying it like that, but yeah, it's just not safe. If that'll happen, anything can happen. Police are still not releasing that victim's name as of yet. They are asking that anyone with information in this case contact College Park Police. In Fulton County, Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News.
All right, Deidre, thanks for the latest from there.
I'm trying to look like a regular t-shirt business, but, he was in a busy shopping center in South Fulton. It was anything but that, the feds say. It was a front to sell illegal drugs and guns, and tonight, 2 men are behind bars. A third is still on the run tonight. Let's get to Ryan Kruger. He joins us now with that story. And Ryan, investigators say these guns are tied to several shootings in our area.
Yeah, that's where this all started, Ron. Investigators were looking into several shootings and murders in the area of South Fulton, and they realized most of those guns were bought illegally, all from the same place. Off of busy Old National Highway, you'll find restaurants, stores, and things much more sinister.
It was a good neighborhood. I never thought anything this would happen in this neighborhood, but things happen.
This shopper asked us not to show his face once he learned about the allegedly dangerous stores that were operating here. I got my hands on this federal indictment that says Kyle Sims and Herman Fields, shown here in past mugshots, were working in a t-shirt shop called Lil City. It's no longer open. An undercover informant went inside the store and bought marijuana, cocaine, Xanax, and several guns from inside, all going down just feet away from where families shop for groceries.
I mean, it's tragic, things that happened this whole year.
In all, there were 3 businesses in the same shopping center that were raided last week after a 6-month-long investigation. Sims is currently in jail. Fields is still a fugitive. And a third man, Peter Armour, also arrested in this case for allegedly selling an assault rifle to that undercover informant.
New at 5, College Park police desperately need some help to find a killer, and the shooting was all caught on video. Channel 2's Dave Huddleston live in College Park with why detectives are saying this gunman's extremely dangerous.
Justin, and this is where that killing happened, right here in front of this gas station. You can still see some of the victim, Keith Troop's friends there, right where he was shot at the front door of that gas station. And late this afternoon, I want to show you this real quickly. College Park police gave us this wanted sign looking for that killer. College Park police showed us surveillance video of the murder suspect gunned down South Fulton resident Keith Troop. In the video from early Saturday morning, you can see the suspect waiting on the side of the building, and when Troop comes out of the store, the suspect comes from around the corner of this gas station and shoots multiple times. Rodriguez Jackson arrived on the scene seconds after the murder.
It was shocking. I didn't know, I was afraid for my life because I didn't know if the dude was still around or not.
Outside the Chevron station where Keith Troop fell and died, friends of the murdered man left flowers, candles, even a Bible. This person who didn't want his face shown says Troop was a good man.
He was a good person, man. I mean, you needed anything, he looked out for you. I mean, he was a good person. Everybody loved him, for real, for real. Like, it wasn't no bad blood. It's a messed up situation.
College Park detective Tiffany Thomas told me police need help catching the killer, but the video is good quality.
The hoodie was kind of covering up his eye, so he wanted to pull the hoodie off his eye so he can see and make sure he was shooting the victim.
Detective Thomas also says it's extremely unusual that the suspect had a gun in each hand.
To me, it just tells me that he really wanted to kill this particular person.
And friends here on the scene tell me that Troop's funeral is planned for Monday. Reporting live from College Park, Dave Huddleston, Channel 2 Action News.
Tonight, terrifying moments at a Metro Atlanta Walmart after a man was shot in the parking lot. It happened at the store on Old National Highway in South Fulton. Police say the man tried to run into the store for help, but collapsed. He died soon after. Police are still at the scene investigating. They've not said what led up to that
Following a traffic stop in East Point near the Camp Creek Marketplace, officials tell us the officer shot and killed the driver after an altercation between the two. Fox Eye's Angelique Proctor joins us live with the breaking details tonight. Angelique?
Good afternoon. This officer-involved shooting has left one man dead and a police officer in surgery this afternoon. The College Park police chief tells me this all started when an officer tried to pull a motorist over for a suspected DUI. Now here on the scene you can still see police tape right in front of the Exxon gas station, as well as across the access road there in the distance. The GBI tells us this traffic stop happened at the Exxon on Camp Creek Parkway near 285. A College Park officer pulls Terrence Lester over for a field sobriety test. But police say Mr. Leslie began to fight with the officer. The officer apparently pulled out his taser, but we're told Mr. Leslie overpowered the officer, took his taser, and body slammed him. That's when he apparently broke the officer's arm. Now, that's when police say the officer pulled out his pistol and shot at Mr. Leslie, striking him once. Now, police say Mr. Leslie then jumped in his car but crashed just a few hundred feet away at the Texaco gas station. That's where John Holt tells us he saw his vehicle.
I just see the car parked right there. It was straight in with the bumper into that pole, and the GBI to the East Point police. I know usually when you see the GBI, somebody got killed.
Now, the GBI tells us the suspect, Mr. Leslie, died at Atlanta Medical Center. His brother tells me he was the father of 4, and they have lots of questions. I'm also told that officer is in surgery, getting his arm repaired this afternoon. He also has lacerations to the head and is definitely expected to be in the hospital for a couple of days. Reporting live in College Park, Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
Angelique, on top of that late-breaking story.
Breaking news in South Fulton tonight. Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Joe Ripley. Right now, police are working to find the person who shot and killed a man at a popular park. 11 Alive's Dawn White joins us live now from the scene. Dawn, do police know what led up to the shooting?
Well, I spoke to South Fulton Police Chief Keith Meadows just minutes ago. He said he believes it was a verbal altercation between two men who were fighting over a woman. He tells me the victim is just 20 years old, and they do have a person of interest in custody. You can see here it's a very active scene with police vehicles down there. Police tape is blocking off the area here. And I am joined now by South Fulton Councilwoman Helen Z. Willis. This is her district. And you were here when the shooting happened. What did you see and hear?
Well, I was here at a Stop the Violence rally, and at the end of my speech, I heard gunshots. I ran over to the police, and there was a young man laying on the ground, face down. They tried to revive him, and of course, he didn't make it. This is unacceptable. This is not who we are as a community. We are a community full of legacy residents. We love this park. And for someone to do this to the victim in the middle of a park while there's a Stop the Violence rally going on, and it's still going on, is unacceptable. My condolences to the family. A 20-year-old is no longer with us due to senseless violence. And it's unacceptable, and we have to find ways to deal with our anger. Violence is not the answer. This was someone's son, this was someone's father, and this was someone's friend, and our community didn't deserve this. His family didn't deserve this.
A man was found shot today in the parking lot of an apartment complex on Garden Walk Boulevard in College Park. Clayton County Police have not released his name, but say a Good Samaritan who spotted the body called 911. They tried to give him CPR, but it was too late.
Target is...
College Park police officers stood at attention. And many citizens did too. They all saluted an officer whose life was lost way too soon. Officers and citizens choked up trying to explain their love for Lieutenant David Huff. For some, his death seemed like a dream.
I was devastated. I couldn't believe it. I was in shock.
I refuse to believe it. I don't want to believe it.
Others were just as emotional as Huff's hearse stopped in front of the police department. And the final call for Huff was played. People say he will be missed.
He was a great guy. If he could help you in any way, he would.
Huff died Memorial Day after he lost control of his personal motorcycle and crashed on I-20 in Newton County. Police Chief Keith Meadows says he was an up-and-coming star in the department. And I learned Huff got a promotion after his passing. He's no longer a sergeant.
We bestowed the honorary rank of lieutenant on him.
It didn't matter to people here that Huff was off duty when he died. They say the job was with him if he was on the clock or off.
The job was in his heart. And I think that's why he excelled so much within the police department.
In other news, a crime alert on the south side where police say an Uber driver shot a pregnant woman, forcing an emergency C-section. CBS 46's Troy Cooper, live in College Park, speaking with the child's father.
Good afternoon, Karen. I just had a chance to check in with the victim's father, and he says that they are recovering well, and she's finally able to speak, but it's going to be weeks before her and her baby boy can come home together.
She was out of intensive care last night.
Kenneth Anderson says he still can hear the sounds of his 36-year-old daughter getting shot by an Uber driver outside of his house.
She doing somewhat pretty good. She'll be in there for a few more weeks.
Last Saturday around 10 p.m., he says his daughter ordered an Uber black car to his house, but a white one pulled up to pick her up. He says the two began arguing because they couldn't find one another quickly to start the ride. Tensions brewed throughout the ride, and eventually...
That's when I heard gunshots.
He says the driver shot her in the leg once and the stomach twice. They rushed her to the hospital, where she was forced to deliver her baby 2 months premature after emergency surgery.
They are literally on his tail.
Anderson says police are tracking the gunman as fast as they can, and Uber has removed him from the app.
I'm not going to be happy until they catch him.
Now, Anderson also told me that his daughter will be seeking therapy just because of how traumatic this event has been on her as well as their entire family.
Breaking news out of College Park. Police there investigating a deadly triple shooting. It happened at the Life at Avery Park Apartments, which are on Charlestown Drive. Daniel Wilkerson is on scene right now, gathering new details. Daniel, you have spoken with police. Any new information?
All new for you at 6:30. I have just learned that one of the shooting victims was shot in the neck. We do not know which of the three that was, but yes, one person dead, another in critical condition, a third person, we do not know that person's condition. I'm going to move out, give you a live look at the scene while photojournalist Richard Brayton zooms into the scene to kind of show you what's going on. As you can see there, not a big part of this complex taped off, but police are still on the scene. They're looking at evidence. One neighbor told us that she heard between 12 and 20 gunshots here, and so quite the shootout. Let's give you a closer look. This video shot just a little while ago. I did get confirmation that police are right now at the hospital where the wounded were taken. They are asking questions, trying to piece this all together. Of course, it is still early on. They could not tell us what led up to this or whether there is a shooter or shooters still out on the streets. Back out here, as we bring you back out here live, you're taking another live look at the scene here. Again, this is the Life at the Avery Park Apartments in College Park. Of course, I'll be on the scene, and even after we go off air, we'll have the very latest on your CBS 46 mobile app. We're live in College Park this morning. Daniel Wilkerson, CBS 46 News.
Police officers have a new precinct. The new Southside Precinct on Godby Road officially opened for business today. Police say the new precinct will allow them to better serve the community.
This just in.
College Park police are investigating an early morning shooting that sent one person to the hospital. It happened just after 8 o'clock this morning near the intersection of Roosevelt Highway and Hospitality Way. We're told one person was wounded, but their injuries are not life-threatening. Police have not released any additional information. Clayton County police are investigating a possible Craigslist murder. They believe that Jamal Hodges' death earlier this month was tied to something he tried to sell on the website. Now, Fox 5's Deidre Dukes joins us live in College Park, where funeral services were held for a beloved family man today. Deidre?
Yeah, funeral services held here at World Changers Church in College Park. Friends and family gathering here simply can't believe what they are calling a senseless crime. Now, Hodge did go to College Park to meet someone, we're told, about a possible transaction that he was making on Craigslist. There was something that we're told he was trying to sell. He was killed, and now police are hoping that the public can help them find whoever did it.
I mean, it was about 7 shots, 6 or 7 shots. Boom, 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 boom. They're popping.
Jamal Hodge killed at this College Park condominium complex on Flat Shoals Road on November 5th, just 2 weeks shy of his 39th birthday. Clayton County police say Hodge was found shot to death outside his truck at around 7 that night. Investigators believe his death was tied to something he was trying to sell on Craigslist.
I don't know why they just didn't take what they wanted, but just let him live. You know, that that was just senseless. It's just a tragedy.
Reverend George Champion joined friends and family at World Changers Church for Monday's funeral service for the Union City man. Hodge, an IT professional and martial arts expert, was described as a strong Christian, devoted husband and father to his 6 children.
I missed the friendship, the talks, the teaching. I miss watching him and his family interact.
Champion believes whoever killed Hodge lured him to the crime scene using Craigslist as a ruse.
He was set up. He was too street smart for that.
A resident of the complex who asked us not to show his face recalled seeing Hodge moments before the shooting.
He sat there about 15 minutes. About 5 minutes after that, two young guys dressed in black walked up to the truck.
The man says he walked inside, then heard gunshots. Crime Stoppers has offered a reward of up to $2,000 for information leading to an arrest in the case.
Like most cowards, what they do, they shoot you if they have a weapon like that. You know, evil knows bounds. They don't care.
And as Hodge's loved ones come to grips with a senseless death, anyone with information that could lead to an arrest in this case has to contact Crime Stoppers, being reminded that you can remain anonymous. And that's the latest here in College Park. I'm Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News.
Thanks. Want to take you
tonight? The GBI is investigating a deadly shooting involving a College Park police officer.
Happened overnight at a traffic stop in East Point near the Camp Creek Marketplace. Police say the officer shot and killed the driver after an altercation between the two. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor has been following this story all day. Joins us live now with the details. Angelique?
Well, Doug and Deidre, that officer underwent surgery on his arm here this afternoon at Grady Memorial Hospital. We are told his wife has been by his side. Meanwhile, another family has lots of questions tonight. College Park police say the deadly encounter started here at the Exxon gas station on Camp Creek Parkway about 2:20 Sunday morning. We found police tape that marked the spot where the officer pulled Terrence Leslie over for suspected DUI. College Park police say Mr. Leslie began fighting and even broke the officer's arm when he took the officer's taser and appears to have fired it at the officer. That's when the officer pulled out his pistol and fired multiple times, hitting Leslie once. Witnesses say the suspect jumped back in his car and attempted to drive away, but crashed in front of the Texaco gas station. A short time later, John Holt noticed the scene.
I just see the car parked right there. It was straight in with the bumper into that pole, and the GBI and the East Point police.
Mr. Leslie died from his injuries at Atlanta Medical Center. His brother says he's a father of 4 and his family has lots of questions. The officer underwent surgery Sunday and is being treated for a broken arm and has 3 head lacerations. The chief tells Fox 5 2 witnesses saw the entire deadly encounter. Mr. Holt tells us he wished this would have all turned out differently.
And all they got to do sometimes is just talk to the police and thing will be all right till trying to outrun the police.
Now, police are not yet ready to release that officer's name. The chief tells me that will likely come tomorrow. Reporting live from Grady Memorial Hospital, Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
Angelique, thank you.
South Fulton police have arrested the person responsible, they say, for shooting a woman in College Park. Officers say that shooting happened late Friday here on Pine Tree Trail. Police say the shooting stemmed from a domestic dispute between a woman and her husband. She is recovering at the hospital after being shot in the shoulder.
Begins with breaking news. A 17-year-old boy rushed to the hospital after he was shot several times while selling water on a ramp to I-285 in College Park.
The gunman drove off, with police still searching for them right now. 11 Live's Joe Ripley is live near 285 and Old National Highway with what we know so far.
Good evening. College Park police say the 17-year-old was targeted, shot 4 times. He had to be rushed to the hospital. Right now, we don't know much about the gunman. All police know right now is that they drove away in a white sedan. You can see that, over here, we have some other water boys selling water here. 2 other cars, I was speaking to them earlier. They said they did not know the teen who was shot. They didn't know any of the other teens involved who were victims. They say this corner is usually safe. just moments ago, this is what they were telling me, and now they're back out here selling water hours, I should say, after teen was shot earlier today. Let's show you some video here from social media showing College Park police responding to this shooting. It happened around 12:20 this afternoon near the intersection of 285 and Old National Highway. Officers saying several witnesses told them 2 men in a white car pulled up to 14 selling water, showed off weapons, then started firing at the kids. One teen was shot in the leg, hand, and wrist. He had to go to the hospital, but is expected to survive. Police say the 3 other kids were not hurt. The white car drove southbound on Old National toward 285 North after the shooting. Police saying this underscores the dangers people selling water can face.
When we see them, we try to shoot them away, let them know, hey, let's try to go somewhere else, fellas. Let's try to find another means of making your money because it's not safe out there.
Right now, we are still working to learn more about the suspects. Police urging anyone with information, any witnesses who might have shot pictures or video on their phone to come forward because it may help in this investigation.
Executive Director for the fabulous Georgia International Convention Center and the Gateway Arena at College Park. We're going to start by having an invocation for Chaplain Jamel McKenzie. Please come up.
Let us pray. Eternal everlasting God, we come this evening asking for your wisdom, your guidance, and most of all, your divine intervention in the matters that concern our day-to-day living. Without you, we lack purpose, and we are scattered as sheep that have gone astray. We rely on you to show us direction and to help us value ourselves and the people you have placed in our lives and our community. Today, as we come seeking unity, understanding, and reconciliation, we thank you for our leadership in this city and our leadership within our law enforcement team. We pray for their continued protection as they dedicate themselves to serving and protecting each of us. Help us to see how each of us can play a role in making not only College Park and Georgia better, but how we each can contribute to making society and the world as a whole a place where every individual can feel safe, respected, and not judged by their outward appearance, but rather valued for their inner spirit. In your name we pray, amen.
News we've been following for you all morning. GBI confirming just minutes ago that one man has died in a shooting involving law enforcement at an apartment complex in College Park. Mara Sirianni is near the scene at Chelsea Garden Apartments. That's on Godby Road. Mara, what can you tell us right now about this shooting with this late breaking information coming in?
Hey, like you said, Aisha, within the past 10 minutes or so, the GBI confirming to us what family members here on scene had already told us, that man who was shot by law enforcement has died. I don't know which law enforcement officer from which agency, I should say, actually fired those fatal shots. That's information that we're still waiting to learn here on scene. We're across the street from where all of this happened. Police have moved us across the street while they continue this investigation. But those shots were fired around 9:30, 10 o'clock last night. That is what we're hearing. And we've actually been speaking with witnesses and family members of the man who was shot. And they tell us that police actually were here on Monday serving some type of search warrant, trying to at least. I don't know what that warrant was for, but then they tell us they returned yesterday. They actually located the man. Something transpired, and that's when those fatal shots were fired. Take a listen.
But he just like any regular person out here. Everybody get themselves in trouble, but he was trying to fix himself little by little.
I know he was scared out of his mind, you feel me, and it shot my little brother.
And we saw the medical examiner here on scene. I don't know the identity yet. It's not reportable of the man who was shot, again, by law enforcement. Still a lot of questions this morning regarding what exactly led up to this, but as soon as we learn anything new, we'll update you on air and online.
All right, Mara, thank you. A lot of details still unfolding. We will follow up with you later this morning.
Clayton County, where police are investigating the shooting death of a teen. It happened last night at the Gardenwood Apartments.
Officers say when they arrived on the scene, they found the 15-year-old dead with multiple gunshot wounds. Fox 5's Portia Bruner joins us live from Clayton County tonight. Portia?
Yeah, and this is really just kind of hard to wrap your mind around when you think about a 15-year-old boy dying essentially the first day of summer. This is supposed to be summer vacation. His family's not supposed to.
Right now, police are investigating a shooting in College Park where a man was killed. Police say they were called out to reports of shots fired at the Super 8 on Old National Highway just before 6 this morning. When they got there, they found a man shot to death in the parking lot. Detectives say they think the man had gotten into an argument with a woman and man just before the shooting. College Park police are investigating the shooting death of a man at the Chevron on Old National Highway near Godby Road. Authorities are not releasing the victim's name right now, but they do tell us he was in his 40s. Police are working to get surveillance video to figure out more about what happened. As soon as they get that and pass along that information, we will bring it to you.
College Park police are investigating a deadly shootout. Police were called to an apartment complex on Charleston Drive around 4 o'clock this morning. One person was killed in the gun battle. 2 others were taken to the hospital. One had been shot in the neck. There's no word on their conditions as of now.
Yellow crime scene tape right here, and a few cars in the parking lot is all the remains from last night. Now this morning I talked with a few folks who came back here for their cars today. They all described the same scene in the bar at the time of the shooting. They said it was packed, and that security quickly came in and told everyone to get outside. Several people picking up their cars today in the parking lot of the Cozumel Mexican Cantina did not want their faces shown on camera, but their cars are now reminders of last night's shooting.
I heard the gunshots and I seen the sheriff come running in with their gun out. I'm like, everybody get out, everybody get out.
Customers say after the shooting they were evacuated from the restaurant and moved away from the building.
Somebody was laying right there, somebody was leaned up on the side of a car,
College Park police responded to the shooting off Old National Highway. The GBI is now handling the investigation. Information released by the GBI today details a fight in the parking lot after midnight between several cantina customers. Then a man shot at 2 people. An off-duty Fulton County deputy working a part-time job at the cantina and a security guard shot at the man. The man was hit, taken into custody, and brought to Grady Hospital in critical condition. A woman not involved in the fight or shooting was also hit and went to the hospital in stable condition. Information on who shot the woman has not been released. The deputy and security guard were not injured. After it is complete, the GBI's investigation will be handed over to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. College Park police will handle filing charges against the man who was shot. Customers say last night's shooting is a first.
I come here all the time. I come here like every Sunday, but I haven't seen nothing like this happen before.
In College Park, I'm Joe Hankey, 11 Alive News. All right, Joe. College Park police officer is recovering from a gunshot wound after pursuing a suspected murderer. Early this morning, the officer was involved in a chase with a man. Now, the officer was shot in the neck, but is expected to recover. The suspect also had non-life-threatening injuries. This was the 28th officer-involved shooting in Georgia so far this year.
Now to some other developing stories in Metro Atlanta, starting with a search for the person who shot a water boy in College Park. Atlanta police say the 17-year-old boy was selling water at the Old National Highway exit ramp on I-285 around lunchtime just yesterday. Officers say 2 men drove up and started shooting at a group of teens. One of them was hit multiple times and was taken to the hospital. The other 3 were not hurt. Right now, we do not know the victim's condition. If you know anything about this shooting, you are urged.
Or tonight, a man hospitalized with life-threatening injuries after a shooting in South Fulton.
Tonight, police are looking for the suspect. This happened at the Hickory Park Apartments on Delano Road. CBS 46's Jamie Kennedy has more.
A community on edge after a shooter opened fire at apartments in South Fulton.
Officers found a male victim suffering from a gunshot wound. We also found reports of a vehicle that had struck a building, possibly during the altercation.
The victim was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police believe while the suspect's car was fleeing the scene, he hit a parked vehicle which then struck a building. Many of the apartments in the Hickory Park complex are occupied by families.
The building or apartment unit was occupied. There was a child inside, but thankfully the child was not injured.
A drone was sent up to search for a suspect to no avail. Police are still in the preliminary stages of the investigation.
We do not have a suspect currently at this time. There was possibly a white Mercedes involved in this incident, but that is all the information that we have at this time. It's currently under investigation.
Jamie Kennedy, CBS 46 News.
That's where police are investigating a double shooting on Bodby Road. This is the scene at the Sierra Townhomes. Officers found 1 victim with a thigh injury, but were told that nobody could locate the second victim. Investigators are notifying hospitals to be on the lookout for somebody with a gunshot wound. There's no word on either a motive or any arrests in the case.
The city of South Fulton are looking for 2 gunmen who shot and killed a beloved Walmart, a Food Mart clerk, during a robbery last night. Officers say the same men robbed a Dollar General on Roosevelt Highway only hours earlier. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor is live at the Welcome All Road Food Mart with more details. Angelique.
Well, you know, this is one of those crimes that just leaves you shaking your head wondering why. That's because the clerk in this case, Tony Zinnaby, did everything that the robbers asked him to. But in the end, witnesses say they were ruthless and shot him anyway.
I mean, Tony didn't deserve to leave here the way he did. Tony was my brother. Tony was the pillar of the community. Tony loved people, and the people loved Tony.
So many customers are in disbelief that beloved Quick Pick clerk Tony Zinnaby was shot and killed during a robbery Tuesday evening on Welcome All Road. South Fulton police say these 2 men are the suspects. One wore a yellow hoodie, the other a black ski mask. Zinnaby's sister was in the store just before 8 o'clock during the robbery and says her brother complied with everything the robbers asked for.
I mean, like, to give you everything and you still kill him? I mean, that wasn't right.
South Fulton police say the 2 men robbed the Dollar General on Roosevelt Highway earlier Tuesday evening. That's where this clerk, who didn't want to show his face, said he encountered the gunman and immediately became suspicious.
I looked to the left, I seen that he had on ski mask, and they're the only ones in the store had on the ski mask, and his hat outside, so I knew everything looked kind of strange and weird to me.
Jamie says instead of cash, the suspects pulled out a weapon
at his register.
When it's time to pay, that's when he come up on his shirt with a gun and saying, hurry up, open it up, threaten me and my store manager. I just felt like this man was gonna shoot me. Even after we gave him the money, I just felt like he was gonna shoot me.
And the memorial is still growing here for Mr. Zenabi all day long. We've seen people stopping by. We learned today that he was not only a husband, but a father. There are a lot of heartbreaks in this community today. We are reporting live in the city of South Fulton. Angelique Proctor.
Police want to find a killer who gunned down an aspiring hip-hop artist. Friends say he had just gotten a job and was working to get his break in the music business. Fox 5's Jacqueline Schultz tells us how police believe 19-year-old Dante Miller was running for his life when he was shot and killed.
Dante Miller's life had so much promise. The 19-year-old was about to be signed to a recording contract, and detectives tell me he had just got a new job. That's why they're baffled that someone would take this young man's life at this College Park apartment complex.
The young man lost his life. You know, he was trying to do something with his life.
Jaquan Howard still can't sleep at his own apartment since he and his friends made the terrible discovery. Police say 19-year-old Dante Miller was shot and killed in Howard's backyard and behind this building at the Lakeside Reserve Apartments off Lakemont Drive.
My body in the backyard.
Howard says the night of October 22nd, he was holding his birthday party when his friends told him what they found.
Still kind of shocked. Still very in shock, on edge. You're wondering what happened. Where's the person that did it? Is that person still near right now?
Police tell me they have no idea why someone would take the life of this up-and-coming talent. Investigators found his birth certificate lying near his body. They tell me Miller had just got hired for a new job at the airport and was about to start his music career as a hip-hop artist. They believe he knew people and stayed with people around the complex, but have no idea what he was running from when someone between 10:30 and 1 in the morning shot him in the back. Investigators have no motive and need more leads.
You know, people are trying to make something of themselves, and it's sad, you know, that when you're trying to do that, something like this will happen.